started. I got these beats by somebody.
Sold up. Nope.
All right. This is Tajima Hal and Ill Sugi's collaborative album.
Okay, yeah.
Ill Mahal, which is dropped. Welcome back, Secret House Against the World.
Yeah.
I'm Robinson Mega.
Oh, DJ L-Spades, what's up?
Lana Del Racist.
Hey, did you see that N-word scissor hands?
No.
N-word scissor
No, I
hands?
haven't
That's
seen it.
hard. All right, yeah, anyways, man, welcome back. Album reviews, we out here in Tokyo. Today we're going to talk about an album by Pink Siifu, his newest project, which is called Gumbo, with an exclamation points and little apostrophes and strange places all throughout the album. So first, as we get into it, I just a little background on the artist Pink Siifu. He's an MC. I think he's from the South, maybe like
Alabama.
He's an MC from the South. I've been let's talk about how we know him and such, right? So I've been a fan of his music for quite a while. His 2018 album Ensley was dope. This year he had Smoke Break drop with Fly Anakin, which is super dope, and Negro dropped last year, which is a more kind of wild industrial type of strange album, different from a lot of his catalog. I'm a fan of his music. This is a different approach to him. This is like a Trap Siifu type of album. What do y'all think about Pink Siifu? Were you familiar with him before listening to this album?
My homie Jordan put me onto Pink Siifu like years ago. I might even still been back in the UK. I don't remember. I'd heard a lot, like it'd been played, while I was in the room. This is the first time I listened to Negro like once last year.
I feel like you would like that.
I did like it. So I was surprised to hear him like rapping this much on this record, because Negro doesn't have any rapping on it, does it?
Did you hear Negro?
Yo, this is my first introduction to Pink Siifu.
Oh, dope.
Okay.
I was like, oh, okay. When y'all said Pink Siifu, I was like, Siifu. I'm like, okay, let me check it out. And this is my first introduction. So, yeah, I came in here totally agreeing. I didn't know what to expect.
Okay.
Siifu is like master in Chinese, right?
Yeah, it's
like
basically like
Shifu.
sensei.
Like,
yeah.
Sensei.
Yeah. When I first was introduced to him, I was like, this is kind of a corny name, but let's see what it is. And then as I heard his music, I was like, oh, this is an incredible artist. He's got a variety of collaborations with a bunch of people who I like. I think the first joint I heard from him was a project he did with Swarvy from Los Angeles. And he just always, he has a lot of collaborative albums with people. And that's kind of my introduction to him. I can't say that I'm a huge fan, but I listen to almost every single album that comes out, I think, and I always find a track or two that I really enjoy. So I do like Pink Siifu as an artist. His joint that he had last year, Fly Siifu, I think. They give a shout out to my man Devin Morrison. Shout out, go check out my Mega Late Show episode with him. Incredible artist, and I just like that whole kind of ecosystem of artists that work with him. His last album had Z Looper on it, Mavi. He got people on it that's just dope. So, yeah, this album, Gumbo. Who wants to start? Let's give our general thoughts about the album, and then we can discuss things.
Fitting
with each
title.
other. Yeah.
Very fitting title. Like, it's pretty distinctly Southern, even though there's a lot going on in there. Big mix of ingredients, kind of amorphous and liquid. There's a handful of like 2-tracks on there. What was it? Fuck You Mean / Hold Me Down, Pink and Green, White and Gold, where, you have like the different movements kind of going through the track. Like there's a lot going on in that record. And it's big as well. It's like a big tub of gumbo, like a big pot.
What is it? It's 18 songs, right?
18
about
songs, about an hour
60
long.
minutes, about an hour. Yeah, 59 minutes. So,
I guess I don't want to start on a negative note because I liked the record. It felt its length. I'd say it felt maybe longer than its length for me.
Could have used some trimming on this album.
It in a way, it kind of, maybe this is like a random point of reference, but it reminded me of the Further Adventures of Lord Quaz by Quasimoto and Madlib. That there was a lot of like interlude kind of, move away from the music for like 30 seconds, then like a kind of sketch of a track, like a minute of rapping and a beat, and then like jump back and, and it's a long record. There's a lot going on. And I feel kind of under-equipped to review it right now because I've just had a busy week and I've only listened to it like, seriously, like one-time headphones on. I've listened to it like on the train as well, but I don't count that as a serious listen. But there's a lot going on there.
Yeah.
You want me to go ahead and
Yeah, I
knock
want
this
you
off?
to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, look, man. I'm not trying to be the contrarian here.
Oh, wow.
But-
Spade being the contrarian in an episode of Secret House Against the World.
Look, man, I can hear the genius in this album. I see the direction he was going, but this was hard to listen to, just aesthetically. The mix on some of these songs, I'm just like, what the fuck is going on, man? Look, man, distortion in songs is good. It's good. I get it. I'm with you on that. But some of the mixes was just like, what the fuck are we doing here? Roscoe was a bad interpretation of a 3 6 Mafia song trying to be a Dirty the Pimp gangster song that just fucking hurt my ears while
You
I was
didn't like
listening to
Roscoe?
it.
That might have been my favorite on the album.
Bruh, I was listening to Roscoe like, yo, this could have been dope if it was mixed right.
I think that's intentional, don't you?
Whether intentional or not intentional, it just taxed my ears listening to it. I had to turn it down like 5 decibels. Like, okay, I can't get into this one. And Roscoe could have been awesome, man, but the words got lost in all that damn reverb. Like, you beat the shit out that reverb. Like, bruh, can I get some... Like, look, man, I'm not saying I'm the best mixer in the world, but damn it, man, can you get your vocals to sit on top of the beat? This shit just got lost all in the mix. I'm just like, come on. I just wanted to punch a grandma in the face or something. Like, I just want to hear it. Because I felt like rocking and grooving to it, but all that distortion and that clipping and just turned me off. I'm just like, oh, God.
It's funny because I was thinking when I was listening to that track how I got a lot of like Rivet Head friends who like love industrial music and like maybe they've listened to Death Grips, maybe they've listened to like Blackie or even like Yeezus by Kanye West or something, and if I were to be like, oh, here's something that like bangs and like with bars, like some like more hip hop, more trap oriented stuff, like Roscoe is one of the first tracks I would play to them. I feel like my friends who like industrial music, my friends who come from like that 9 Inch Nails school of audio, like would heavy fuck with this record.
I was going to let you finish your thoughts on more of the album, but I think that that's an intentional throwback. I think most of this album is intentional throwback to a few different Southern styles. And to me, that sounds like I thought that was an intentionally dusty version of a Southern track that was supposed to evoke you having a cassette tape of old 3-6 and that's why
Dungeon
I
Family.
think that it worked for me. It kind of made me feel like, oh, this sounds old but new and different, and it's Pink Siifu, so it's an interesting approach for him to make the track that way.
Agreed, just not executed well, in my opinion. Like, I get what he was going for. Like I said, it sounded like a 3 6 Mafia type beat. Matter of fact, this whole album, like you said, it sounded like once again, fitting title, Gumbo. It sounded like you was trying to hit some elements of Equimini, some old 3 6 Mafia, some Dirty Pimp and the Gangster. Like, I heard some Yo Lynch. All that stuff was in there. I heard the influence of it. Just for me, the execution wasn't done well.
Well, I mean, you talk about production, but like it's not all busted out reverb like that on most of the album.
Yeah,
songs like what is it? The joint with
Fuck you mean? Fuck I mean?
No, there's a few songs that it's like the production is Smile With Your Gold. That's a jazz funk band, and the production on that is super clean, and the movements on it are super clean. The joint with Georgia Ann Muldrow, the production on it is clean. Like that song Roscoe is like one piece of this whole kind of Southern palette of Gumbo, I guess, that he's doing. Did you not like the production on any of the songs?
No, a few of the songs was good.
Okay,
like a few of them. I'm not gonna say the whole album was like that, but the ones
Roscoe
where,
in particular.
That was just the main example of
Sure.
like, yo, what are we doing? But some of the other songs too, the mixes were iffy on it for me.
The first song, Gumbo, is really beautiful too. It's got DJ Harrison on it, and also like when I heard it, like immediately the thing that stood out is that Big Rube feature, because Big Rube is also on 13th Floor and off of the AT Aliens album,
Right.
and he's on this twice, and I felt like that is an intentional way of starting an album. on this kind of vein of an Aquemini Southern type of approach. And I think that he kind of clicks the boxes on a few different Southern styles, which is not my expertise. You know what I mean? But I did grow up with, when 3-6 Mafia's Tear the Club Up was coming out. And I also had a lot of, there's like choppy screwed type of beats on this. And I was in the South when Swisher House was coming. And I think that a lot of this album is kind of him being like, fuck it. All the rest of my music sounds a certain way. The last big album that I did that was solo was this weird industrial style approach. I'm gonna bring it back to my my roots.
See, I
and make a love letter to a lot of these different styles.
I can't speak to that. Like I said, I haven't dived into the man's catalog. I mean, but this joint had a few songs that I like. Like Wayans Brothers was bumping to me. I'm like, yo, this joint hard.
There's a lot of producers on this record
gate.
as well. There's a lot of producers on here.
Alchemist is off
Alk's
this
on
joint. DJ Harrison. I mean, I got notes, but they look all fucked up here. Like, there's a lot of joints on here that I really did enjoy. There are some tracks that were absolutely skippable for me. Pink, Green, White, and Gold, which is kind of like an interlude in the first place. But Fuck You Mean Hold Me Down, that second part of the movement of that is really catchy and dope. Skurd has some incredible production on it.
That's the Muldrow's on there.
Yeah. That's the Georgia Muldrow joint, and I think that kind of evokes that organized noise style of production, incorporating live instrumentation into these kind of Southern slapping type of beats. Some of the singing, the very poetics of it.
I definitely like Pink Siifu when he's leaning more into that neo soul kind of groove that he does.
Is that what he's known for? Neo soul?
I would say it's a lot of like soul samples, kind of more. They're not hard. They're not trappy. They're not this. Okay. This is a very different approach for him.
Yeah, and I mean,
very different approach for him.
Of course, he's paying tribute to a lot of Southern acts, and I do think, the Dungeon Family in particular and Outkast, like, that's a very, very, like, heavy presence on the record. Maybe less so than on Negro, but, it's there. And personally, I like it when I can just kind of vibe to it. And I think maybe my issue with the not even the length of the album, but the number of tracks and the way that it's kind of jumping between interludes and everything, and the movements and everything, which is something I like, is that I wish he would let some of the tracks breathe more.
Do you really? Because the favorite songs were the ones that were like a minute and a half. For me, I'm like, yo, these junts don't overstay their welcome. It might back to the Fuck You Mean, right? Good song, right? But the mix on it for me was shitty too. Like the Rhodes keyboard in there. The way they had the Rhodes on the left side and he was rapping on the right, I can get what you was trying to go for, but the Rhodes was just killing all the damn lyrics again. I'm just like, bruh. Once again, just not executed well. I could see what you was trying to go for. And I'm not saying this is a bad album, but the execution was kind of sloppy. It seems like an album that wasn't done. Like, this should have stayed in the oven a little bit longer. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know if you mixed this yourself, my guy, but I get what you was going for, but execution-wise, I'm just like, ugh.
See, if there was one producer on there, I would agree that maybe that was like sloppily executed. But the fact that there's so many different producers on the record, there's a whole bunch of different people working on it, and the whole album has that kind of hazy, basement-y feel to it. Where
four track,
like, yeah, exactly. Just a guy like with an SP like in his basement at night, just fucking around. Like it felt very intentional to me. I felt like they were trying to, build that kind of
outside
mood.
of like the tracks with the live instrumentation, obvious jazz bands. I thought that it was supposed to have that type of sound, and I don't know, like, I'm not comparing it to modern trap style contemporary rap music production. I'm kind of trying to compare it to what I thought he was going for, which has a different, like, those albums that we go back to, especially with 3-6 and these cats that weren't on any type of major labels at a time, a lot of them are poorly mixed, and a lot of them have things where they recorded the vocals on one ear and it's on. You know what I mean?
That note down here, and I got that, but once again, you gotta utilize technology for a reason, man. There's a reason why this technology got better. If I want to hear that nostalgic sound, I'm gonna go listen to that tape. Like, this is 2000 and the year our Lord 2021. So you need to go ahead and incorporate technology now. Now, once again, if you're gonna do an homage to that, it's ways you could have did that, in my opinion, right? You could have added noise and still had it aesthetically pleasing to the ear. Like for me, the highs and all the high frequencies in these mixes just tax my ears. I could not listen to this junk all the way through. I had to take breaks. Like, yo, let me sit this down and come back.
I didn't have that experience at all.
Really? Maybe I got shitty headphones in, guys.
I mean, I listen to on a variety of different things. I listen on my television. I listen on my phone with this and with two different types of headphones.
Did you listen all the way through though, to the whole album, or did you like take pauses and come back to it?
I listened to it all the way through last night.
Okay.
But I've listened to this album maybe 4 times and a few of the tracks multiple times over and over again.
What medium did you use to listen to the whole album all the way through?
I used my phone.
So it's phone speaker or headphones?
No, I had headphones in. Listening on a phone speaker is fucking illegal.
Right.
Like, don't ever fucking.
I was like,
don't ever fucking do that. Like,
I was looking at you something with the side.
No,
I was like,
no.
Did you really listen?
No, nobody's mixing their albums to be listened to on phone speakers. I hope, but yeah, I don't know. I aside from the kind of production quality of it, I thought that a lot of the vocals on this and the melodies that he was using and a lot of the rap styles that he kind of jumped through, the poetics of it were really beautiful at times. And he's not saying much, you know what I mean? He's not saying it's, but it is of that. It is like a Southern album, but it lacks a lot of the kind of harder misogynistic things that are so true to that genre, or at least prevalent in that genre.
That's a good thing.
You know what I mean? And so I find it to be very enjoyable. When other cats do it, like a cleaner production style, I would say that goes for this homage and kind of a direct lineage from the Southern sound. It's like Earth Gang, right? Sure, Earth Gang's production is always super clean and crisp, and what they do is great. But I feel like it would not be as effective for Pink Siifu, who's known for a more lo-fi approach and known to have different elements in his. He's not rapping like a rapper's rapper.
I wouldn't even call some of this rap, to be honest with you. It's some kind of fusion between rap and singing.
There's a lot of soul and
he beating the hell out that reverb, man. Like, turn the reverb down like 2 notches, my guy. Just 2 notches. Like, not auto-tune, but reverb. Just turn it down a little.
So you didn't like this album?
No, I actually did like this album.
I haven't heard you say anything positive about it.
Okay, my bad. I'm sorry. Yeah, let's get lost in trail list. I actually thought this album was decent. It's a right in the middle album. It's a couple of these junks on here that I will go back to. Like, Doing Too Much, hard as hell. Like, I love that junk. Doing Too Much, Wayans Brothers, like, those are the 2 junks that I will go back to. Like, I was listening to Wayans Brothers in the gym today. Like, yo, it's going hard. It's just the whole album, and I get it. Gumbo. It sounded like gumbo, like a whole bunch of shit thrown in a pot.
I never ate much gumbo. Did you eat gumbo growing up? You from the UK?
No, I didn't really even know what
all the time. South.
Being from the UK, I didn't even really know what gumbo was until like I was getting older and kind of more exposed culturally to American.
It means okra.
You know, my stepdad from the deep south. And, you know, he a country boy, you know what I mean? He grew up in a very black town with a lot of poor black people, but we just never had gumbo like that. I mean, he grew up eating squirrels and frogs and shit, but we just never, but maybe it was a little bit too far to the east, like southern Georgia. I don't know if it's like a gumbo place.
Fun fact, okra comes from Africa, and the African name for okra in France is gumbo.
Is that right?
Yeah.
There you go. Secret House Against the World, mad facts. All right, well, I personally enjoyed the album. I enjoyed it a lot more than I disliked it. The few tracks that I don't like on here, they don't have the same problems. I didn't identify the same problems. Like the song I didn't like Back. I'm a Dog. You know what I mean? About bitches and shit. I just didn't really care for it. It didn't speak to me. I like the joint 4 Show 7 where he gives some love to, you know, rest in peace, Ross G, Doom, even Capital Steez. There's a bunch of joints on here that I really like and I'll tap into again. Some of them are the joints you don't like. I really actually fuck with Roscoe.
Really?
And the music video, like, it's hard. I like Roscoe. Roscoe goes to me.
Okay.
I'm not a Southern trap guy, so you know your sensibilities are different than mine when it comes to rap music. But I like it. What you got, Jet? I would give this album, in my opinion, a 10 being like a perfect, unskippable classic album that are unicorns and hard to beat.
I'm waiting on this one.
I would give it a 7. I think it's better than its worst. I think a 7 is a fine for a pretty decent album. What do you give it? A 5? 4?
Yeah, I'm giving it a 5.
A 5?
Right slap dab in the middle. Like 5, it's not bad, but it ain't good. A 7 to me is like above average. Because 70%, man, you're passing. Like, this is not a terrible album. Once again, I think it was poorly executed, but I get what you was trying to do. And I'm not like trying to shit on the album by giving it a 5. I'm just saying, I think it could have, on Jet's
You
point,
can mix it better.
I definitely could have mixed this album a lot better. But to Jet's point, this album could have had some trimming. Like, you had a little bit too much on this joint. It was kind of excessive.
60 minutes is long for a modern album these days, I think. There's a lot of songs for a modern album, too.
18 tracks.
18 tracks a lot,
yeah.
man. But I get what he was going for. Gumbo, a whole lot of ingredients. And a lot of these songs are like just a minute and a half to 2 minutes. You're throwing it all in there. But purposely, this album had no direction. And I get it because it's Gumbo. I got you, man. I'm with you. I'm rocking with you on that. But just poorly executed. So it's a 5 out of 10.
A 5.
I liked it. Negro was probably like an 8 for me. So I feel like on that principle, and I don't really like comparing records because it's a very different beast, but it's got to be like a 7. Like a, yeah.
I think 7 is
yeah.
a good score for an album that I like more than I dislike.
Sure.
That's an average album for most of the artists I listen to. Nothing too great, but you know.
I feel like the dick here.
Do you think you would go back and listen to any of his other albums?
Yes. Well, actually, I will. I will like dive in and check out some of the other albums, especially now since y'all intrigued me and saying this is not his total direction. He does stuff differently. I would definitely go back and listen.
I also think that the album deserves some artistic points for that too.
It's a pretty weird record.
Just
I have no point of reference, so I can't give
artistically,
him points
I think,
for that.
Yeah, so I
have no point of reference, so I can't give you points because I don't know your other stuff. But just first listen, being introduced to this artist from this album, not bad. Like, dead ass. I'm not like shitting on the album because I gave it a 5. I'm just saying,
I'm not surprised by your answer, but I thought you would enjoy it at least as much as you enjoyed Seafood Sam.
Okay, yeah.
I thought you
Sam
would.
was bomb.
Yeah. But okay, shit. I think that's it. Fucking check it out. I don't know.
Secret House.
There we go.
Balls.
Fuck the all right.
I mean, I was hoping you said that.